5 questions we've got today with Chris Connolly. Thank you for coming on, Chris. Number one, where was you in the moment that you made the choice to succeed at what you do?
To be honest, I think that moment came from when I was down in treatment. When I was in treatment, I was in a group therapy session, and it was probably one of the first times in my life where I started to realise that everything that I had done in order to get me to be where I was, which was the height of addiction at the time, losing my family, losing my friends, losing my mental health, and losing my daughter. I think in that very moment when I was in that group therapy session and I became aware of all the bad behaviours that I had been carrying on out through my life, and it was all my fault. Then I started to realise that it was all my fault. Well, then I was the one then who could rectify it as well, and that was the one true testimony that started to change my life, to be honest. That, and my sister had sent in a letter one day to treatment, and she said to me, Christopher, look, if you're going to change your life and if you're going to get sober, you need to remember that your daughter's going to need you to walk her down the aisle one day. And that vision and that specific scene stuck in my heart, you know.
Well, powerful moment. Number two, what is the best thing about what you do?
The best thing about what I do, Jazette, to be honest, is meeting people like yourself, you know. I started this off because I wanted to ask people of influence, people of success, or people of professionalism like yourself, like Gary Cully, like all these people who I run with. How did they get to be where they are today? But ultimately, like, you start to meet true people, people with good hearts, with good heads, people who don't really give a bollocks about the normal things that people tend to sweat about in life, you know. And there's definitely something in this world that people can't see, they can't fathom, but we can feel. And when you're around the right people, you can feel, you know. You're not a worry of judgment or a worry of anything negative at all, you know. You know you're going to be all right. And that's coming from me and a professional boxer sitting across him, you know. You know you'll always be all right.
Yeah, man. So what's taught you more, your wins or your losses?
One of the best things that ever happened to me was also one of the worst things that ever happened to me. I think a lot of people, they shy away from struggle, they shy away from hardship. They're terrified of people dying, or they're terrified of somehow hitting a hurdle in the road. Where, like, most of my success came from those hurdles, overcoming those obstacles, falling down on my knees time and time again, and getting back fucking up. And I think that's what the world is lacking these days. We live in a world where everything is instantly accessible, where people can fucking get next day delivery these days, you know. 6 minute abs, they're all selling you a dream, you know. It's a fucking, it's something that you want instantaneously, where the true meaning of life is to struggle, is to fall, is to fail, and then is to succeed.
Yeah, well, success is relative, and for you, the highest level of success that you achieved in your life, what happened after you achieved that goal for you personally?
Me personally, I'm always looking for what's next, you know. And I think anybody who's filled with purpose, anybody who's pursuing a life of their wildest dreams, always pursues what's next. You know, that's the double-edged sword, because it's brilliant being successful and it's brilliant getting things done, but once that one thing is done, it's like, what's next? You know, everybody's afraid to be forgotten about. There's always somebody coming after you, coming for your job. There's obviously always somebody coming to take what you've worked hard for in your life, you know. So you need to keep the momentum going, and it's always the fear of what's next.
Yes, 100% I agree. And for you, what's easier? Work or rest?
What's easier? It's easier for me to work, you know. I'm a workhorse, and that's one thing that I always say. I love the work, I love the struggle, I love the grind, and I hate the rest, because I always think to myself, like, if I'm resting, I'm missing out on so much, you know what I mean? I'm missing out on fucking, I could be getting this done, I could be getting that done, you know what I mean? In the nice way possible, I believe that only losers rest, you know. And I understand, like, a lot of people say, oh, you need to rest, but like, resting didn't get me to be where I am today. Working me bollocks off got me to be where I am today. Knowing when to maybe take a 5 minute nap every now and then, you know what I mean? And just enjoying the ride, you know. But that's my own personal beliefs. That's what worked for me. Each and every single person is different. But I'm a true believer in, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
100% I agree, and rest day for me is the toughest day. And one last one, give me a prediction, something bold, something that you can look back on and say it with confidence. Give us a little bit about Chris, a prediction about what you're about to achieve in the future.
So obviously we're sitting in the podcast studio today. We're going to record our first podcast. In the next year, to be honest with you, I'd like to, one of my aim goals is, obviously I'm a social media content creator, I'd like to have 250,000 followers by the end of the year. I'd also like to have ran across a lot of 50 cities in 50 days all across the world. I want to be able to run across Ireland. I want to do 12 to 13 marathons consecutively, day after day, and I want to raise funds for charity. And I also want to gain a little bit more financial freedom. And a lot of people tend to say, like, money is not a big object, but the world that we live in these days, it's very, very fucking unfortunate, but you need money to survive, you know. And I want to be able to accumulate financial freedom for me and my daughter, you know. I don't want my daughter growing up, and I don't want her worrying about certain things that I had to worry about when I was growing up, you know. I want to be able to teach her the best way I can to understand the value of money, but I always know, like, that we're always going to be good, you know. I used to hate that, worrying about money, or your family worrying about money, or the stress that brings on the household, you know. And anybody who struggled with it knows exactly what it's like. So this year, the main goal is run across Ireland, 50 cities in 50 days, another 32 counties, and yeah, God is good. The health is all good as well.
Brilliant, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.